as they say, once more into the breach. And that is the case here in the ProtoGT series as we head ourselves to famous Watkins Glen International. This track in upstate New York is one of the most favourite for drivers to come to, and it's the perfect fitting for the final round of this championship. We're going to kick off here on Racesport TV, streaming live on iRacing Live after this brief message. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome then to round number 12 of the ProtoGT series here on Racesport TV. Streaming live on iRacing Live, we begin with an onboard lap from Ollie Quokka as he tackles this fantastic Watkins Glen International racetrack on board with Oculus Rift. Wolverton along with Connery and Madigan. Well, Connery, today it's all about crowning champions.
Oh yes, it is, Will, but I actually think we can crown one champion already before this race even gets started, and that will be your GT1 leader, Niels Coach. He isn't even in this race, but he still won. He's about 600 points ahead.
Yeah, the way it works, of course, 12-week championship, your top 8 rounds count, 4 drop weeks, and for Neil as well, from what we've seen of him all season, he has just been one of a kind.
Yeah, he really is. No one quite wheels a GT1 car around a racetrack like he does. I mean, Rens Broekman does his very best with that Corvette, but for the Aston Martins, there's really no one even close to Niels Coach, at least in this ProtoGT series.
Indeed so. Just having a look then, last bit of the lap for Ollie Quokka. That difficult left-hand corner before the end of the lap. Final corner now for him. And that's a look on board Racesport TV fan immersion with the Oculus Rift as we now welcome you in to our broadcast booth on Racesport TV, streaming live and iRacing Live to Watkins Glen International qualifying. Well, that one is just about complete. We'll run through scores and doors in a moment. But today, Connery, we've been talking about wind all season long. Today, pretty much no wind. 79 degrees Fahrenheit, 46% relative humidity, 2-mile-an-hour wind.
Yep, so very, very calm winds here in Watkins Glen, New York, and well, your guys will just be heading towards the grid. We will actually be doing a full pace lap here at Watkins Glen, Will, so there's a little bit of time to fill, but that gives us time to talk about the other 2 championships that are not completely 100% sealed right now. In the prototypes, it is Diego Kumuni that's currently leading that one by around about 200 points. Now, we've seen the points haul for the top top finishing position in this series, in this split, be around about 240 points. So that is not signed, sealed, and delivered yet. Dimitri D'Amato still has a chance. In your GT2 field, though, that is very, very close indeed. Nick Thiessen only leads by 7 points, and now over Koen Klopman. And now it's important to point out that Koen Klopman has already raced this week, so he's not going to gain as many points in this race if he does better than he did in the other race, as you would normally. But also there's Maximilian Schieder. He's only around about 12 points behind Klopman as well. So top 3 in the championship for your GT2 field, very, very tight indeed.
And there's the important thing to note about Koen Klopman as well. Not only does he need to do better than the race he's done so far previously in this week, but he still needs to get into one of his best 8 races point finish-wise over the course of the season. And if Nick Thiessen has a good race today, that will help him. In terms of the field, because of the fact we've got ourselves a large field here today, some would argue that might help Thiessen over Klopman because of the way the iRacing breaks down.
Yes, indeed it might. But looking at the qualifying efforts, though, Nick Thiessen just short of halfway in the mid-pack of that GT2 field. If I count, he's in around about the 7th place on the grid in that field, and Koen Klopman 3rd place. So Klopman, well, he's done all he needs to do in qualifying. Now he needs to carry it over to the race.
As there's your grids, they just cycle through on your screen. This is round number 12 of the championship, and there you can see the iRacing official pace car pulling away for 1 lap around this track here on Racebot Prime Time on iRacing Live. As well, the good thing here is that we are going to have a fantastic event. Watkins, Glen, Connery, one of the drivers' favourites, one of our fans' favourites, and of course we've got that fantastic passing opportunity on the run to the boss stop.
Yeah, it really is a brilliant passing opportunity, and expect to see a lot of 2 wides coming down into that braking zone. But on the first lap, your drivers have to be very, very cautious coming up the S's. We've seen a lot of instances in the past where drivers haven't quite gotten single file. They tried to take it 2 wide up the S's and end up having a bit of a roadblock at the top of the S's. So they have to negotiate that one first before they head to the bus stop, and that can cause its own issues on the first lap as well.
Yep. Got to remember as well, Friction Racing are gone. It's now Friction Sim Sport, and they've got a lockout at the front of the field. There we see them. Once upon a time, they were Friction Racing, one of, arguably, the best prototype teams in all of sim racing. Positive Sim Racing sit in rows 2 and 3 in terms of prototype. It's Sebastian Filosa there, leading the way in terms of your GT1 field in that striking number 3 GT1 car. Benjamin Gonzalez in the 2nd place, that number 18 machine. Zoom in on him now, the VEC car. Then you've got 2 SimRC.de machines, Jürgen Frank and Dustin Hickman. Maybe they'll work together in terms of this event. But the lap then, qualifying out front in terms of your GT2. Nick Thiessen, championship leader, right on board of him now. P7 in qualifying. Koen Klopman, further up, 4th place. Work to do, but we know Klopman is very fast at the start of these events. SimRC.de got themselves 2 drivers inside of your top 4 in terms of GT2. Ignore the other car, that's Baslov. But the prototype cars now heading themselves towards the start of the final round of the championship. Marcus Hamilton on the outside there. Frederic Heves alongside him, front row of the grid. Now it's a case of working themselves through this very difficult second to last corner, and then the right hand flick with the walls to the start finish line. So welcome to the last round of the championship. Welcome to Racebot TV Prime Time. Let's get you up to date then. Racebot TV fan immersion as we will go green. Out front in terms of prototype, they get themselves away cleanly. Same applies then to GT1 Connery. We are on our way for 1 hour's worth of racing.
Yep, looks like relatively clean racing so far as the GT1 field there hit their way down the carousel for the first time. Sebastiano Filosa still currently leading that field. Benjamin Gonzalez is actually, yep, he's just still in that second place. Hagen Frankston in third and Dustin Hickman still in fourth. So these guys have gotten single file relatively quickly. Not many positions being changed at this stage.
Maximum Machida is out of this event early. Incident on lap number 1 in terms of GT field. Let's have a look at the start from on board. Oh my word! He doesn't even make the start of this one.
No, it doesn't. That is a very, very weird incident indeed. Looks like your GT2 field had just gotten up to speed coming out of the second to last corner right there. Max Nishida just got a huge slide on contact with the car on the inside of him. That was Bass Slop, and then he just completely locked up coming through the final corner, not even going to take the green flag.
It's not often you see that, and Shida's one of those drivers as well, who in GT circles has so much respect for him. He's running the things like the Neo Endurance series. In this series, that is an unforced error that we don't normally see. As out front, Hamilton has a lead by 1.5 over Pure Racing Teams, Maximilian and Beneke then. On to lap number 2 of this event already. Live timing and scoring is available. Raceway.tv/timing. Alternatively, you can get social with us as well. Links along the top of your screen. Dimitri Damatos right now in a battle in prototype. Frederick Evers just ahead of him and Patrick Wolf behind him. You talked about Damatos having a chance. It's a slim chance, and he can't be in P number 4. He has to go for the win.
Yep, I don't think there's actually any Diego Comuni in this race right now. So this is a golden opportunity for Dimitri Damatos, as we've an incident in your prototype field just coming through the toe. That was the number 26, Maxime Scalabrani, having issues with the number 36 of Jabrowski.
Yep, we'll get ourselves a replay of that one right now for you, as he's dropped to the very rear of the field. So, on board of him now. Heading into the boot section of the racetrack. Turn number 7. He's okay there. So it's now a case of exactly where does he have that incident. Now down at toe corner. Oh, it just gets turned around. We saw that on Sunday night, actually, Connery, quite a few times. And that is a place. There are different lines through there. There's a banked corner as well. You can try and use it to your advantage, but you've got to be careful.
Yeah, you really do. It's a corner that has basically anything you can put into a corner in it. It's got an elevation change, it's got camber, it's a very, very long right-hander up the hill, and yep, incidents like that definitely can happen as we look at the battle. Ooh, number 9, Patrick Wolf, just diving it down the inside of the 22 of Jeffrey Kugelbaum coming into the bus stop right there. That was well, they were coming side by side, coming down to the braking zone, but Patrick Wolf very, very committed on the brakes.
Replay. Let's show you what happened then. On board with Patrick Wolf. Up the hill he comes, over Kuhlberg. And look how far back, actually, he was at this point as well. Actually, Kuhlberger, let's have a look to see where he is. Oh, Kuhlberger is on his, yeah, on his outside, actually. And Patrick Wolf there, able to defend well. Patrick Wolf there in the number 9 machine, running P number 5 in that prototype class. Let's go and have a look at GT1 for a moment. Because GT1, more exciting than GT2. There's a little bit of a look at the battle at GT2, but GT1 got battle for P number 2, P number 3, Jürgen Frank, Benjamin Gonzalez. This is a track, bit like Daytona. The guys will stay close together because of the long draft zones here at this racetrack as guys work themselves through turn, well, the last part, that's hill corner now. It's that very difficult left-hander at turn number 11. Actually, the hardest corner on track, Connery, is this turn 11.
Yeah, it definitely is, and it really punishes you if you get a little bit too early in the throttle. The back end can swing out from underneath you as you head your way through that corner, as your GT1 field now heads his way through the final corner. And talk about trouble spots right here. That is a corner that can really, really make your day very, very horrible very, very quickly.
Oliver Spies having himself a bit of a passing situation, losing P number 16 in your prototype field. GT2 battle coming for the race lead. Kyle Klotman moving forward quickly. And again, you talked about this at the top of the broadcast, Connery. Klotman has to win this race. Got to get 7 points more in terms of the championship battle than Nick Thiessen. Thiessen in 6th place, Klotman up to 2nd.
Yeah, Klotman is definitely doing all that he can, but to be sure that he's done all that he can, he has to get this race win as he makes his way out of turn number 1, running a little bit wide. You can do that. Now chasing Gianni Vecchio right through the S's all the way up the hill. He'll may have an opportunity coming down into the bus stop, but he doesn't get quite as good of an exit as I had expected them to. To expect Gianni Vecchio to be able to defend this position, even though Kyle Klotman will close up coming down into the break zone, yep, he is absolutely well ahead. Let's just have a look at how Nick Thiessen is doing. He is currently a couple of cars behind. They're still inside of them though, but so this GT2 field hasn't really broken up all that much.
It's not. And actually having a look at the gaps, Nick Thiessen is about 3.5 seconds back right now from your class leader, which is Johnny, number 15 machine. There is Nick Thiessen running himself P6 in class, but a track like this, easy to keep in contact, difficult in some ways to make your way past, especially when these cars are close together. What Thiessen needs to do is be smart here and think his way through this event, because if he does that, it's a good chance he can win out in pit stops. And we know Thiessen has overall this season been pretty good in that phase of the race.
Yeah, he really has. He hasn't really been the best of qualifier, shall we say, or in the early stages of the race, but he has that sort of mid to late race pace that is sometimes required in the series, which is why he's currently leading the GT2 championship right now. And you also have to think he doesn't really need to finish ahead of Kyle Klotman right here, even though he's only even though Klotman is only so points behind. Remember, Klotman has already raced once this week, so we'll have to see how that plays out when the iRacing system goes through the results at the end of this race.
Having a look on board of Gonzalez versus Filosa. 3 tenths for a second the gap. Let's go on board of him. Close either way, actually, Tommy, because right behind is Jürgen Frank in that number 2 DX car. Frank looking very strong in that 3rd place right now.
Yeah, top 3 drivers in your GT1 field currently very, very close on track together, with about 9 minutes done in this race so far as they head their way down into turn 1. Actually, this time, I'm not seeing Jürgen Frank lock up a lot. That's a change, Will.
It is. Also, worth noting that it pretty much is Aston Martin City here today, as the gap between Filosa and Gonzalez eked out a little bit like last lap. Jürgen Frank still within half a second. The top 3 drivers in your GT1 field separated by less than 1 second right now. Got yourself Dustin Hickman and Jordan Week still in kind of contact as the battle is developing now in terms of your prototype field. Hamilton versus Beneke. Beneke's closed it back up last time by 4 tenths faster, and hello, it's time for some traffic, and this is where it gets difficult. Going too wide up the S's as working on board of Beneke. He will catch a driver in the S's here, and look at this. There's a second lost. There's another half a second lost.
And he won't lose any more, but that is a lot of time lost for Maximilian Beneke. He actually had to check up twice during the course of the S's, and he has to negotiate even more traffic ahead of him. That's Bartolat in that GT2 number 8 cars, as Maximilian Beneke will actually head his way around the outside of all of these cars right here. So that is not the optimal line coming through this. He's lost another couple of tenths at least to Marcus Hamilton.
And actually, Beneke did close some of that gap back, as you see from our timing and scoring there. Patrick Wolf versus the Matos. This is going to be good to watch as these two cycle through traffic. On board right now with Patrick Wolf, number 9 machine. And actually, no, the Matos gets a much better run through the boot section that last time by. He has, for the moment, the advantage. But as much as we love Watkins Glen International, in terms of traffic management, this is the one I think that really shows the good from the great, because those drivers that know how to manage traffic here will be fantastic. Those that are hesitant, Connery, you're going to lose big time.
Yeah, we can just see that now. The number 22, Jeffrey Kugelberg, now right on the back of the number 9, Patrick Wolf. Again, they're going to get held up in the final corner by a couple of bits of GT2 traffic. Matos gets held up behind the GT2 traffic as well. Will Patrick Wolf sling one, a hopeful one down the inside? No, he's a little bit too far back for that one. But that has just stacked up the field a little bit in terms of your 4th, 5th, and 6th place positions in your prototype field.
Close battle. In fact, Kugelberg having a good run here. He had a good run last time out as well, let's not forget. We go on board with him now. He's going to try and dance to the outside of the PRT car. He does, almost to the grass. As they come down into the bus stop chicane, Kugelberg looking for 5th. And almost goes very wide there. Lucky to keep that one on track.
Yeah, and that is not actually the first time that has happened to Jeffrey Kugelberg coming down into the bus stop. He is just caught on the outside line. It's very tough to try and make the corner if you are on that outside line coming down into the bus stop. And now he's just lost half a second to these guys that he just has to make back up again, as we have trouble with Bart Delat, I believe, as he drops down the field. I'm going to try and get the car number. Can't quite get it right now, but he's having issues.
Yeah, he is. He's going to get a replay of this. I'm not sure. I've got a feeling he's going to get involved. He does get involved there with prototype traffic into the arm code barrier. And that's what I mean. That's the difficulty. Part of that ends up having to pull that car off the side of the road. You get one more look from our aerial coverage brought to you by And1 Design. But that's the thing. There we are. We'll have a look from above. Two just make contact. Down in the S's, Bart Delat tries to move out the way last second. But the thing with these 4 GT cars is they can't change direction that quickly. As soon as he tries to move it wide, that thing was always going to end up in the tyre barrier. Not tyre barrier, arm code barrier, that's what I meant.
Yeah, get your barriers right, Will, please. But yeah, these GT cars just tend to understeer a lot.
So we've got Jordan Weeks turned around down at turn number 7. Replay. Down into turn number 7. There's no one around him really, so this looks like it might be a solo incident here, Connery.
It may look to be that way. Yes, it is. In fact, I've just seen it on my own camera right here. Yep, he just gets a snap oversteer coming onto the entry of the corner. That corner does drop away from you a little bit as you go down the hill, and him getting on the curb just exacerbated the issue. Just swapped both the ends around on that Aston Martin, and he's stranded in the middle of the track. Pablo Castro did well to try and avoid him.
And the thing about turn number 7, we talk about turn 11 being difficult. Turn 7 is just as hard as we've got a prototype stop. That is Ronnie Durig there. All of it's happening very quickly here. Ronnie Durig now going to be classified as out of the event. Oh, he had a big incident. Don't know with whom. Let's replay this one. Ronnie Durig is out.
Yeah, and it was all on his own coming out of the bus stop. Again, another case of snap oversteer, I think. Just sent him right into the tyre barriers.
Yeah. Those low curbs, it's a bit like Daytona we were talking about last week, where those low curbs, you want to abuse them. Durig has decided to turn that car up again. He's going to bring it on towards pit road, but that car is likely to be terminal for him now. Into the lane he comes, but those low curbs, Racing 101 dictates you've got to abuse them, but you abuse it too much, and that car, it just seems to be he didn't have it set up well. As we go back on board now, battle for your race lead. Beneke versus Hamilton. Turn number 7 they come right now. Traffic didn't work out for him actually, Connery, that first time around, but he is still very close over that Friction Simsport car. Yeah,
he was very, very close, and he doesn't get quite the best run coming out of the toe of the boot as he just shows the nose a little bit, does Maximilian Beneke in that number 1 car, just showing Marcus Hamilton, just saying, hi, I'm here, I can take this position or challenge for this position pretty much any time I want, but I won't for now. I'm just going to stick behind him and just stalk for a little bit.
Nice look then at these two drivers. They work themselves now through the second to last corner into that final turn. And now they start onto another lap. 15 minutes then scored complete here on Racesport TV and on iRacing Live this evening. Let's show you your movers and shakers in your field, starting with your prototypes. And well, there's not been much actually overall in your prototype field in terms of movement. Tanaki up one, Edwards down one, Corvette up one, Jaworski down with one spot in terms of top 10. But then at the rear of your field, Durrani Ricciuti has himself that early advantage as again, now the prototype drivers are coming up to lap your GT1 field, and all of a sudden it's a case of what can Hamilton do over, well, perfect there, just work himself round the outside through the carousel. In terms of GT1, just to let you know, Frank Heinrich is up 5 places in that class. Then we can see him number 37, Sim RC.DE machine. P1, 2, 3, and 4 are as they run right now, Connery.
Yep, they are, and well done to that number 37 car for being your biggest mover and shaker in your GT1 field right now. He did start at the back of the grid in that GT1 field as we see him move ahead of him. That's Jordan Weeks trying around the outside of the toe of the boot on Jorgen Walby as there's a prototype behind. That's the number 36 of Jakowski, just getting held up a lot right there as he'll just have to file in behind during the course of this tertiary straight here, just making his way down the inside of the heel, just splitting up this GT1 battle that was just being a little bit feisty coming down into the toe.
Yep, you can just see Jorgen Walby trying to defend that position. In fact, the prototype car going to have to wait another corner. Going offline, actually, down at turn number 11 there, really hurts because it's so gripless out there. And it took that prototype driver a good 2 corners to get past. But you see how quickly they branch away afterwards. Vortex Sim Racing car going to work himself past some traffic, as will the Nirvana Race Team car as they come past the stripe now over this battle between Walby and Weeks. Let's go on board with the driver of Jordan Weeks as they come up the hill and they go side by side there on the exit of turn number 1.
Yep, and there's a prototype behind them as well. Number 16 of Neil Andrews actually had to pull out of making that 3 wide, coming through the S's right there. That isn't really the best decisions to go 3 wide there. As Neil Andrews, again, he's trying to find a way past. He has some pressure from Ricciuti behind him as Ricciuti is now going to get held up by this GT1 traffic as Neil Andrews make his way around probably outside of the GT traffic coming through the carousel, as will Ricciuti. So a little bit of a panic moment for those prototypes.
Just have a look at the replay there. The number 21 machine of Walby seemed to have had himself a bit of an incident as we're just going to go there. Helicopter camera wants to go through some trees, but we've got a pass race lead in GT1. Benjamin Gonzalez to the point. Let's show you what happened there. As I talk about this, it's worth noting that part we just saw Weeks and Walby. The reason why was because of the fact that, quite simply, it was the case of number 21 machine just almost tagging the rear of a prototype car. Didn't end up in the end, and I missed already the pass in GT1. But Gonzalez leads away right now over Sebastian Filosa, putting out a gap 1.4 seconds right now as Gonzalez over Filosa.
Yep, and I don't believe we've seen Benjamin Gonzalez this far up the front of the GT1 field. I don't think we've seen him leading so far, at least not during a pit cycle. So that's fantastically well done for Benjamin Gonzalez to be leading this race here at Watkins. Glen Filosa, again, is one of those names that we kind of expect to be up there as we have a prototype come down pit road. That is Jan Rockinska, number 28, right at the back of the prototype field. Thinks he can make it to the end from here.
Very early then is he coming on towards pit road. Let's see whether this is a scheduled stop for him. No damage to that race car, running in Scandinavia colours. So time going on for him in his pit box. Normally about 20 seconds, let's aim for him right now. Let's have a look. Fuel going in for him. Been on the lane now for about 40 seconds. Actually, no, there was a little bit of damage, it looks like, to that race car. Pit stop time taking quite a while, actually. So the number 28 machine looks like it's going to be a slightly long one for him. We'll zoom out. You can see we've got more cars coming past the start-finish line. And Rustin Carr, long pit stop for him right now. Beneke versus the driver of Marcus Hamilton in prototype. that one remains as it is for the time being. Top 3 of each of your classes out, showing on the left-hand side of your screen. Let's have a look back, though, to GT2, because Kloppman hasn't been able to do anything over the driver of Gianni Vincenzo right now, but Nick Thiessen up into P5, not that far behind the driver of Michael Thomas, 4 tenths of a second right now.
Yeah, and Nick Thiessen just needs all the positions that he can get so that he's firm and secure at the front of your GT2 field in terms of points. But yeah, Kloppman really hasn't been able to do much about Gianni Vecchio in front of him. We know Vecchio had a great run out at Monza, I believe. I think he won that race, in fact. So he's having a very good repeat of that here so far during this race, as we have about 20 minutes done on the clock. Let's see if he can take this to the end.
Just want to, Nick Thiessen's cars, he's actually got damage on the right front of that 4GT. I'm just seeing it there. So Nick Thiessen has been involved in an incident, and it's really hurting the balance of that race car. You see it fishtailing quite a bit out of corners. When a 4GT does that corner after corner, you know there's an incident. He's not made a pit stop yet, but Nick Thiessen looking as though he really is in the wars at the start of this one. Change for the race lead then, Benecke to the point, and we're actually seeing it right now. They go side by side in towards turn number 1, and Benecke passes Hamilton as they work themselves past some GT2 traffic.
Yeah, that was very well timed from the PRT driver right there. Look, Marcus Hamilton's just going to get held up behind Baslov. He has to tap the brakes, not once, twice, but 3 times coming through the S's right there. And look at how much time he's lost to the number 1 machine of Maximilian Benecke. In other news, though, Nick Thiessen has headed his way down pit road. He's just coming between the green cones, coming off pit road now. That's
the issue. We're on board with Marcus Hamilton. You're going to see this right now. Hamilton tries to go round the driver of Nick Thiessen, and of course Thiessen slowing down to enter pit lane, and that is what cost the overall race leader in this event. The fact that Thiessen was coming on towards pit lane.
Yeah, and that's definitely dangerous, especially with where pit road is placed. It's almost directly after the final corner. So if you're right behind a car that's pitting, and that car that's pitting doesn't make it immediately obvious that they're pitting, all of a sudden they're very slow on pit exit, and you almost run into the back of them. So that's definitely an issue that can happen. And Marcus Hamilton has definitely fallen victim to that particular issue, just allowing Maximilian Benecke to get to this race lead.
Got ourselves more battles in GT2. Baslov versus Michael Thomas right now. Riding on board with Michael Thomas in the number 13 machine. Second to last corner. That's going to push Baslov wide. This might give Thomas the opportunity to try and dance it. No, he won't. He'll tag him from the rear instead. And then he hits the wall, does Thomas. And Thomas immediately says, you know what? I've got to come on towards pit road. That was messy in many, many ways there.
Yeah, that was almost a repeat of the basically bump to pass that we saw in the Peak Antifreeze series last season, but not quite as successful for Michael Thomas as he hits the wall instead of his opposition. And actually, he's very fast and dives it down pit road as soon as he realizes that damage is going to be very, very heavy to that left-hand side.
You know what? I'm glad you mentioned that run and bump and run that happened in M-Pass last year. Of course, new season of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze series lives here on Racebot.TV and on iRacing Live. Had ourselves what we're now going to call the pre-season race that took place yesterday. The season will commence at Daytona in 13 days' time. Patrick Wolf versus Dimitri Matos on board right now with the driver of Patrick Wolf out of the hill, out of the toe, down towards the heel even. As these two drivers separated by 4 tenths of a second right now. You know what's starting this weekend, Connery?
What could that be? I'm guessing it's open wheel as well.
It is. The iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series returns to Racebot TV. Round number 1 at the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pace. That will be 2017, a 12-race schedule here. March 4th, 2 p.m. GMT. On iRacing.com/live. Also, the debut edition of Racebot Race Day. We got ourselves the Racebot Formula Renault Cut, as well as the Racebot TV Supercar. Jürgen Frank versus Sebastian Velosa.
Oh, sorry, Will. Issues on the number 15. That was your GT2 race leader. Gianni Vecchio spun on the exit of turn 1. Issues with a prototype car of the number 36 of Jakowski.
And that puts Colin Quatman to the race lead. Let's have a second look then at the driver of Gianni Vecchio. You know what? That looks very close. I think Gianni turned in on it.
I don't know. It's very close one to call. Personally, but I believe the 36 Jakowski was. I think he's a little bit too far back for my liking. I don't know about you, Will, but that was too hopeful for me.
Yeah. Having a look there from the rear view of Gianni, he did look like he just came from a very, very long way back. That's why I said more look at that one then. From our aerial coverage, zooming in. Coming into the corner, I'm going to stop it there. You notice the fact that actually Connery, he turns into the corner. He's already turning in. And actually that prototype car hasn't even really got to the apex. That was number 36 machine that was involved in that one. That was the driver of Robert Grabowski. If we look on board of him, this looks like actually it was a very late one.
Yeah, and very late is certainly one way to describe it. And again, that's one of those classic instances between prototypes and GT cars that happen. Even in the real world, the prototype driver makes a hopeful lunge, hoping not to get held up too much by the GT traffic. And sometimes those incidents can happen, but sometimes not quite as blatant as that.
And it's worth noting that a prototype driver has now impacted on the race lead of your GT2 field. GT2 driver has impacted on the race lead in your prototype field. But Colin Quatman now leads it by 5.3 seconds over Gianni Vecchio as we're about halfway into this one. And the thing for Quatman is he was gifted that, but for Gianni, of course, spinning down at turn number 1, the only thing he had in his favour was the fact that it's completely asphalt there. He can get himself turned around and back up.
Yeah, it is. That turn 1 does have a very wide runoff, and you see your drivers abusing quote marks. That is completely legal to run wide there, and Gianni Vecchio very, very thankful that that particular section of track is paved over. As we have a look for the fight. Oh, it's actually an incident involving, I believe that's Jürgen Frank, the number 2, and some GT2 traffic, just as he was trying to make his way around the number 18 of Benjamin Gonzalez.
On board then with Jürgen Frank. Again. We don't often see Basler being involved in so many incidents in the race. But that, you had the one coming down to the ground. He's had one of this race already, and now he's had this one.
Yeah, and a couple of seasons ago where we had ProtoGT on RaceSpot Prime Time, he was kind of a driver that was kind of unlucky getting into incidents that perhaps weren't his fault, and I don't think that one was his fault. We just saw that Benjamin Gonzalez just went right down the inside of Jürgen Frank, where Jürgen Frank basically only gave him one lane on the inside, and he just pushed out there ever so slightly in the middle of the corner, just collected Bas Slob, so his bad luck may be returning from a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah, and Jürgen Frank's on pit road. Bas Slob is on pit road. In fact, he's out of pit road as well. Slob trying to make the best of a bad situation. 14.1 second pit stop for him. Heading himself back out on the track. Well, pit entry here. The issue is that you've basically got to dance to the right-hand side out the final corner. Be careful out of turn number 1 as well. The speed differential can be huge, and we're seeing that right now. That's Bas Slob back out on the track, and that is the driver of Frederick Evers, the second of the British Supercars.
Yep, and there was actually an incident ahead of him. Yep, number 35 around.
Yeah, that is the driver of Daniel Johnson on the braking zone to the bus stop chicane. Well, actually, stop there. Good job. Think of it disqualified for too long. Let's get ourselves a second look though. Off the hill, Pure Racing team car, second place. Is that Nick Bissett? Or was that his team? Racing Lions car. Whoever it is.
I think that was Michael Thomas that, well, moved towards the left-hand side of the track, made contact with Daniel P. Johnston's right front wheel arch right there. So, yeah, that was Michael Thomas that initiated that one.
Yep. Racing Lions teammate to Nick Bissett. Coming down. That's the thing. He got kind of a bit of a weave on. He moved. He danced right, then moved left. And that is a very weird one to see Johnston's front so you can see it. And then, of course, he won the narrowest part of the race track on a turn. When the only Corvette in the field around, well, it's like really driving test, a 3-point turn away.
Yeah, I think what Michael Thomas was trying to do is just pull back into that left-hand side lane to get the draft, what draft he could get off of Maximilian Benecke. Wasn't really expecting the Corvette of Daniel Johnston to be there, and then you've just seen the result of that.
Yeah, Johnston hasn't yet come to the pit road, but he's only a couple corners away from the entrance. I would expect him to make that journey on the pit road any moment now. A couple of people have pitted from the prototype field. Neil Andrews, Watkins, Ribelow. Mainly because of the fact that they had damage along the way. This made a pit stop as well in GT2. Watkins has made a pit stop in GT2 away from our screen during that incident as well. Pits under him, that's good. 13.6 seconds on the dot. 27.5 overall in the lane. This is no Bishop. Get a fast pit stop. Well, Bishop is in full. You get this 10 seconds back now. He's going Watkins.
Yeah, that is an absolutely huge gap for Nick Dixon to try and overcome. He doesn't really have to overcome it depending on how the points play out. Yet again, we have to stress that that Hopman has already done one race, so the points may not be entirely representative. We have to see what happens at the end of the race. More cars down pit road, though. Cedric Bozier on pit road. Jürgen Frank is still on pit road, perhaps getting a little bit of damage repaired as well.
Couple of laps there, you can see Cedric Bozier, 33.1 second pit stop for him. 57 seconds on the lane, now and away he goes then for another lap of the WGI. Benecke has pulled that lead out ever since he's got past Marcus Hamilton. He's been pushing it along actually. That gap now up to 3.2 seconds over Marcus Hamilton.
Yeah, and Maximilian Benecke, sorry, just showing exactly how good he is in these prototype HPD cars, just stretching out that gap over Marcus Hamilton, who's a fantastic racer in his own right, but Maximilian Benecke definitely establishing his dominance right here as we see another prototype car come down pit road. That's the 11 of Fabrice Cornelius. He is heading his way down pit road. Not many of your GT1 cars have hit the pit lane yet. Sebastiano Fidelosa still out, Benjamin Gonzalez still out, Hickman, Babarek, Weeks all still out. So bottom end of your prototypes are deciding that this is a good time to pit. Not much of anyone else though, even with halfway well behind us.
Curtin Botman cycle back to the front of the GT2 field. Other drivers are coming to the pit road. That allows him to come back out in front. Got a little bit. Oh, no, that's just as they come out of pit road. Neil Andrews there. Very close behind Fabrice Cornelius. Go on board actually with Neil Andrews. He might get a good run up the hill. In fact, he does get a good run up the hill there. Cold tyres hurt him. That's number 11 machine. And that means Neil Andrews back up into your top 10 in class. For Loza, none of your drivers in GT1 really have even considered pit road. We are now at 60% race distance here. And have a look at it. The top 9 drivers in Prototype have decided that they want to stay out on track. We are on board with the driver of Benecke as he heads himself through the box stop today. Absolute commitment for him right there. Leading the race, as I say, there's 3.7 seconds in this field for the time being. Actually, Doriano Ricciuti is on pit road from Prototype, so take that one back.
Yep, and that may be a signal of things to come as Oliver Spears is also down pit road in at number 31 prototype as well. So we got to expect Beneke, Hamilton, Evers, De Matos, and the rest to come in relatively soon in your prototype field as they just head their way through the heel of the boot right now. Just a couple of corners to go until the start of pit road as those two prototypes, they are still on the lane.
17.2 second pit stop there. Guaranio coming back out onto the track. Oliver. 13.8 second stop. So he's closed back up as a consequence, but maybe he might be trying to play it tight with the fuel. Both your top two drivers in GT1 stay out through another lap. Third place GT1 stays out through another lap. Jordan Weeks, let's have a look on board with him. So these guys then going to be looking at doing 45 minutes in for looks of it. Jordan Weeks, final corner, stays out again as well there.
Yeah, it certainly looks like that these guys are going very, very long on. It feels like it's perhaps a little bit longer than we've come to expect in this ProtoGT series, as we've also had all of the prototype leaders also stay out as well. Maximilian Beneke is just heading his way through the entry to the carousel right now. So your drivers are really able to stretch out their fuel stints right now as battling on track has just been subdued a little bit.
Yeah, having a look. Oh my word, that was close. Number 18 machine there with the driver of Marcus Hamilton. That was very, very close right there. We'll get ourselves another look. This is actually on the run down into turn number 7, and look how close that was there. On the run down into the corner, they were about 12 inches apart from each other there. We talk about, you know, racing lanes and everything, but that one was very, very close for Hamilton as he almost crossed the side of Benjamin Gonzalez's car. P2 and prototype, P2 in your GT1 field. You can see there is Sebastian Boyes. Worth noting, that point is filthy similar between P1 and P2. Hamilton now goes past the driver of the number. And again, GT1 stay out and do another lap. Prototype stay out to do another lap. For the most part, the Matos is onto the lane.
Yes, he is, and he's first one of your top couple of prototype cars to blink and head his way down pit road for his mandatory fuel stop, as actually Jeffrey Kugelburn, he also heads his way down pit road. Will Dennis Garise head his way down pit road? The answer to that question is no. He will head another lap, head towards another lap of this Watkins Glen racetrack right now. Looking back to Sebastiano Filosa, Benjamin Gonzalez, and the rest, they have also decided to stay out one extra lap. They're heading their way through the carousel as a prototype driver just negotiates his way around your GT1 race lead.
Jeffrey Kugelburn, hey, and P number 7 right now. In that no-nonsense racing car, 15.8 seconds. Out and away he will go in the number 22 car. So now as your top 5 in prototype, Filosa heads out on the back end of the racetrack. Beneke has worked himself past all of the GT1 traffic. He's on board with Beneke. Let's see if he's going to come on towards pit road. He's got the graphics ready just in case. And out he stays another lap there. So that's going to be 42 minutes they're going to have done. And actually, let's not forget, Connery, they had themselves a full pace lap here as well. Battles in GT2 also, just to let you know, have calmed down.
Yes, it has, as Patrick Wolf will also stay out one extra lap. Couple drivers still are actually on pit road now. Charles Weibow, he's currently heading his way off of pit road for that GT2 effort right there. But yeah, it's quite unusual to see your drivers stay out on track this long. I didn't quite think that the fuel would be able to last that long, but apparently these drivers can save fuel better than I can.
7.7 seconds, second pit stop there. First pit stopping second pit stop indeed there. That's right, such a soul, my word! Pulls it off down at the S's. He's got to get that car off track. That thing is just a danger to others right now.
Yeah, it really is. And whatever damage he has to that car, it's not really safe to be driving around on track right now. He's just pulled towards the inside grass of the well, of the S's right there. He's heading down into the bus stop right now. Locks the brakes yet again. Yeah, he's probably gonna, well, the nice thing to do right here will be to take a tow, but he's gonna try and limp that back to the pits, and I'm not sure that's the right decision, as Dimitri Matos is heading his way around him, gets around him just fine, but that car is definitely in no condition to be out there on the race circuit.
Well, the fact that he drove kind of across the grass down at the bus stop chicane. Of course, the iRacing Sporting Code does state that it is against the sporting code to drive a car on the racetrack for the sole purpose of making a lap. He is down at the rear of that field. I won't comment on whether he's actually doing anything, because we've got everyone from your top 5, top 4 drivers even, on a pit road right now from your prototype division, Connery.
Let's see if Dennis Grise makes that top 5, and yes, he does make it. The top 5 prototype cars heading their way down pit road. Maximilian Beneke off of pit road first, and then comes Marcus Hamilton as he just stays in his box. That is quite a long stop for Marcus Hamilton. The stops for the prototype so far has been around 11 to 13 seconds, and he's been on that. Yeah, that's probably going to be a speeding penalty. Yeah, he's around about almost 30 seconds stationary on pit road, and that drops him back to 5th currently.
As we've got ourselves drivers from GT1 on pit road as well. Jordan Wheat is heading himself to the end of pit road as we speak. There is Vortex Sim Racing driver, number 10 machine of Dennis Garisi, coming back out to the track. For Marcus Hamilton, 1 second pit stop. That's full mark. Speeding penalty on the way to the pit road. They always say, get everything you can. Well, take too much, you lose yourself 3 places, just like you saw what happened to Marcus Hamilton.
Yeah, and that's one of those mistakes he can't really afford to be making. And I'm just going to have a little bit of a look at his pit road entry to see if there's any issues with that. No, he was down to pit road speed right on the yellow cones. He sustained a steady 44 miles an hour coming all the way down pit road, so I'm not entirely sure what has happened there.
As Pelosa, by the way, has pitted in this as well for your GT1 race lead. 16.1 second pit stop, 40 seconds or thereabouts on the lane now. Gonzalez likely to enter the pit road this time by, indeed, Gonzalez is in.
And Dustin Hickman very, very heavy on the brakes coming down into pit road, just closing that gap up to your GT1 leader. You just saw the smoke come out from those brakes as he heads his way down pit road. Now they're just getting stopped in their boxes. Who's going to be first off of pit road? Well,
Gonzalez has been in for getting close to 10 seconds now. Dustin Hickman about the same when you consider their pit box. Oh my word, Hickman's going to get out ahead of him actually. Gonzalez 15.4 seconds. Dustin Hickman 11.5. Hickman there steals one as he moves himself to the front of the field. Gonzalez is going to lose 2 positions as Hickman moves to your GT1 race lead.
Yep, that was a very slow stop. Although looking at the pit stop times, actually it might have been Dustin Hickman with a very, very quick stop, because Filosa also had a around about 15-second stop as well. So maybe Dustin Hickman has short-fueled it just a little bit and has to do a little bit of fuel saving for the end, or he's done a lot of fuel saving already. We will have to wait and see, but yeah, that is a very, very interesting development. Coming off pit road, Dustin Hickman leads.
Patrick Wall versus Dimitri Matos then. Now, after Marcus Hamilton's issue, for the time being, the final step of the podium. But Patrick Wall just outbreaks himself down at Hill Corner. Going to get held up by GT2 traffic through treacherous turn number 11, and what this is doing is it's allowing Marcus Hamilton to close within half a second. 15 minutes of this runner race to go. Let's spend a lap on board with an angry, charging Marcus Hamilton. This is Racebot TV, as he goes to the inside, turn number 1. with comparable leads, and now Connery is up to get another one. He's looking back for a podium position over the Matos with 13.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, Marcus Hamilton definitely on the charge after that mistake. Coming down onto pit road, it looks like he's going to be lining up Dimitri de Matos coming down into the bus stop. He's going to get very, very close. Will he sling it down the inside? No, he's very, very patient. He just waits for just another couple of corners. He gets a good exit coming out of the bus stop as he follows Dimitri de Matos all the way through the carousel. Look at the run he gets off of the corner. There goes Marcus Hamilton down towards the inside of the downhill left-hander, and that's easily said and easily done.
That was a fantastic pass from Marcus Hamilton through the boot. He just gets momentum out of the carousel corner into turn number 7, slings it down the inside, takes it inside. Well, thank you very much. I'll have that. Now up into P number 3. You know what? I've only just noticed this for the first time. Through the bus stop chicane, the driver who actually rather taking, oh my word, a bit of a moment there for the driver of Dimitri de Matos. Guess who it was with there in GT2?
I see the name Bas Slob appearing a lot during this race.
Let's get ourselves another look. You're looking at the second car in shot here. So the rear car in your shot. The one of Dimitri de Matos coming out then of Hill Corner into turn 11. And they do make side-on-side contact there.
Yep, they do, and things just go from bad to worse for Bas Slob. His day was already going very, very badly just before the green flag, and that, well, it basically just adds insult to injury.
So there's the Matos who had just lost P number 4, P number 3, and as a consequence now might be struggling. And actually, Marcus Hamilton backing up not only the Matos but also Patrick Wolf there, as it's a GT2 car. Going slowly through the... I say going slowly. It was Cohen Klotman who's your leader. But still, going slowly in comparison to your prototype cars.
Yes, they really were. As yes, Marcus Hamilton now ahead. And he... well, he doesn't... I don't think he can gain any more positions right now. Frederick Evers is way ahead of these guys. Frederick Evers is actually just coming out... actually just coming on the entry to the toe section, and Marcus Hamilton is just coming through that downhill left-hander, so he still has a long, long way to go with little time remaining.
Yeah, down to 10 minutes now remaining in this event. And as I said, I'll talk about what I was going to say before this one all kicked off. I never realised that the prototype drivers, they don't actually take 2 stabs in those toes, 2 left-handers down the bus stop actually, Connery. It's one fluid motion for them. They always kind of round off the corner there.
Yeah, that definitely seems to be the case, as Marcus Hamilton again having a couple of issues with the lap traffic. Just allows Dimitri de Matos to close back up, also allows Patrick Wolf to close back up. So Patrick Wolf may be looking for position on Dimitri de Matos. They just file their way through on the GT2 and GT1 traffic. They've got some more of it ahead, though. There's Jordan Weeks in GT1 and Jorgen Walby in GT1. And that is a battle for position. There goes Jordan Weeks down the inside. Thinks about it, but has to back out last second.
Yeah, as the Matos will go past, Wolf will go past. On board now with Jordan Weeks. This would have been a good momentum push for him to try and find a way past, but he just looked so that back end came out of the carousel. Has to stay behind over Jorgen Walby for the moment.
Yes, he does, and he may have a look to have another opportunity coming into the toe. Nope, just backs out of it, just takes a little bit of a wider line, trying to maximize his exit coming down this straight here. And look, he's just in the slipstream. I don't think he's going to be close enough coming down to the heel, but there's a whole gaggle of traffic ahead of them, including GT2 cars, so those will be dropping back to him relatively soon. Jorgen Walby still putting up a great defense.
Yeah, and that GT2 driver out front is not Cohen Klotman like I thought it was going to be. Yeah, actually, no, it is Cohen Klotman who's there in that part of the racetrack as well. Let's go back then and have a look at the driver of Jordan Weeks. Go back on board of him out of the final corner. Good run out of the final corner then for Jordan Weeks. Club UK and Ireland, number 34 machine. Looking, thinking, down to the inside. Late break, can't do so. Over Jorgen Walby. Now he needs to hope that GT2 traffic is just going to hold Wolby up enough on the run through the S's. Back on board with Weeks one more time as they work themselves up the hill. This should be Weeks' opportunity. You see, it just takes a moment there, and that's all Weeks needs. It's going to go, and he's going to get boxed down to the inside. Now they go 3 wide into the bus stop chicane, and the winner of this battle is going to be Wolby holds on just for the moment.
He does, as they both get a little bit of oversteer coming out of the bus stop. Perhaps Jordan Weeks just a little bit, he is a little bit more worse for wear during
the race lead. You just had a pass for the race lead to Sebastian Filosa. And in terms of GT1, I just saw it on the top of my timing and scoring screen. There we can see they were going side by side for your race lead in GT1. There we can see them. SimRC.de on the left-hand side, that's Dustin Hickman. Sebastian Filosa takes the outside line through turn number 11. Can't secure the deal right now, but Hickman Filosa, for the moment, that was an astonishingly nice battle just away from our screens. And well, GT1 race lead heated up. Team GT
wrecking on top of the S's. That is 26's Scalabrini. He was fighting for position with Ricciuti, and he's got that all wrong. Just the curb just took his car away from him, slammed him right into the Armco barrier, and he's sliding on his roof in the grass.
Like a replay, shall we? That was just ahead of the Team GT car that we were just talking about a moment ago, actually. Let's have a look. Oh, my word. You know when I say trouble on the racetrack?
Yes.
That was real trouble on the racetrack.
I definitely say that as well, Will, as actually I don't think the curb actually caught him. I think it was contact with the back of the number 32 of Ricciuti right there that just speared his car onto the curb, and then the curb definitely didn't help matters, and then it was all she wrote from there as Scalabrini just slides on his roof all the way down the grass. Not really how you want to be ending a race normally.
Yeah, as we just saw side by side, that's between Barry Morrison as Pablo Adriano Castro. Battle for P5 in your GT1. So your GT1 field all of a sudden has just come alive. We had what? 3 passes in 2 laps?
Yeah, they have. So they're just adding a little bit of spice to the end of this race and, of course, the end of the season. We have around about 6 minutes to go. Here comes Barry Morrison closing up to Pablo Castro as they have a prototype they're going to have to let through here. That's number 22 of Jeffrey Kugelburn as he heads his way through the heel. Barry Morrison may have an opportunity coming on the exit of the heel, coming up into the braking zone off turn 11. Here comes Barry Morrison down the inside. Pablo Castro hung out to dry a little bit. He manages to hold it around the outside. Prototype will have to wait, or Willie Dennis Carisi will have to dive it down the inside and just disrupt this battle. But Pablo Castro, just with the help of a bit of a prototype effort right there, just holds position. And
we saw Weeks got himself past Jürgen Wolby in that one as well. Replay then on board with Barry Morrison. Down into turn number 11. Goes down the inside, gets the line over the number 7 car of Castro. Then they're all going to go 3 wide into turn 12. And here, we just see Barry Morrison ducks out of it, tugs the curb the wrong way, loses a second. But worth noting as well, Weeks, we just saw that one on our screen as well. Weeks got past Wolby, so all is good in the world in that battle for the time being. But this has been fantastic these last 3 minutes.
Yes, they have. Just the Jeep battles in the GT1 field have just come alive. They have spread out just a little bit right now, but they'll close up before the end. No doubt. That battle in the lead, though, for GT1. Dustin Hickman, Sebastiano Filosa still almost within a second right there as they head their way down the pit straight for one of the final times this season. But yeah, as you said, well, all of a sudden they've just started fighting.
1.2 seconds gap between P1, P2 in class last time by. Filosa gained 2 tenths per second. He needs more. However, as we saw a prototype there locking up in a big play, as that was actually the driver of Frederick Evers, who's locking up down at turn number 1. Evers lost himself quite a bit of time as a consequence of that.
Yep, and he may come under threat from Marcus Hamilton as a result, but still, Marcus Hamilton is way far back at the moment, so he needs a cut. Marcus Hamilton needs a couple more mistakes from Frederick Evers for him to be in a position to challenge for the second place as Frederick Evers again had a little bit of a lockup coming around the carousel around your GT1 leader of Dustin Hickman, as that gap between Hickman and Falusa, it's closing.
It is. It's down to less than 1 second. As we have a look on board now with Falusa. 0.7 of a second. 3 minutes remaining in the championship. Falusa wants this one right now. Through the hill corner. If he's going to do it, and I'm just having a look there to see where Beneke is. Beneke is coming down into the final corner. We will see the 2-lap warning this time by, because the lap around here is about 1:35, 2.5 minutes remaining on the play clock, just over. Basically, Beneke will see the white flag on the run for the second to last corner next time by.
Yes, he likely will, as again, Marcus Hamilton's just going to come through on this GT1 battle. Doesn't hold the drivers up too much, but look at that, the gap between them is only a couple of tenths at this point, as Falusa in hot pursuit of that number 6 driver of Dustin Hickman, just chasing him all the way up through the S's. Falusa again is going to lose a little bit of air on the front of the car right there, just understeers a little bit, not as much as if you're in the open wheel car. But here comes the run for Sebastiano Falusa. Will he dive it down the inside? He has a little bit of a look, but he has to back out, and oh, he's not going to get many more of those opportunities as he rides the back bumper of Dustin Hickman.
Hickman did a good thing there. If he's going to bulk something, bulk it on the run into the carousel, because actually Falusa got a better run for the bus stop chicane, and he would have actually been enabled to be side by side into 7 had Hickman not have had the car in the center of the racetrack heading himself off that corner. So Hickman now a lap and a half to hold on, but those tyres seem to be aging dramatically on that number 6 machine.
Yes, they are, and he basically has to put up a defense of his life in this, the final round of the Race Brought Primetime Proto GT Series here at Watkins Glen, as Falusa gets the back end out, coming out the heel. They can't be having too many more laps to go right now. Where is Maximilian Beneke? He's just heading his way across the start-finish line. That will be the white flag, as this GT1 battle is still close, but disrupted by D'Amatos.
Yeah, and traffic will be a key component then of this final lap for your GT1 field. It's going to be close to by. They're going to go side by side for your race leading class. Look at this one, 4 wide, Watkins Glen International to finish off the season. Falusa will have the outside line there over Dustin Hickman. They stay side by side out of turn number 1, and they work themselves up the hill, and Sebastiano Falusa will move himself to the race lead, but it's not over yet between these two drivers. On the last lap of the season, it looks as though that Hickman's got a good run. He's going to try and come back to the outside. He moves himself into the bus stop chicane. Will he be able to make it work? No. But his final real opportunity is out of this next corner, the carousel. If he manages to make this one work, he might have a chance down into turn number 7, but he's not going to be close enough. The play clock is about to expire. Let's go back and have a look at Beneke, because now he's got himself 3 corners to go. The white flag is out. Last lap of the season for Prototypes. Beneke, 2 more corners to go. He's led a lot here today. Got himself the advantage over Hamilton earlier on, then pulled out through pit stops. 4.5 seconds will be the gap at the line. Beneke will win out here in terms of your prototype, but Falusa versus Hickman, it might well be a bit of a grandstand finish here. We still got more to come. We go on board of the driver or Dustin Hickman, but he's not going to be close enough now over Falusa. He lost the lead of this race on the final lap. Hickman will have to settle for second, because Falusa will take victory in your GT1 field here this evening. And in terms of GT2, well, once again, Colin Klopman is the dominant driver over the field. Nick Thyssen, by the way, has moved himself up into 3rd place. That one might be interesting in terms of the final championship picture. But once again, what a race we have had, as we're going to show you your final race results from your prototype field. Prototype was fantastic, Connery, but today it was all about the last laps in GT1.
Yeah, it was definitely an absolutely fantastic battle indeed, and what a finish to what has been a fantastic season here in the ProtoGT series. We'll have to see what the situation is in terms of Cohen Klotman and Nick Thyssen for the GT2 championship win, and also in the prototypes as well. We'll get an official word on that in just a bit once these guys have finished pacing around.
Yep. There's your official GT1 results for loads of wins over Dustin Hickman. Those two were in a league of their own at the end of it. Gonzalez led earlier on but faded. Two Corvettes actually inside the top 10. Brabeck in the 4th place and Robert Tarbox Jr. rounding out your top 10. 13 drivers in your GT1 field. And then finally, a look at your GT2 field here this evening. And well, I will say one thing. Bastrop has basically had himself an interesting time, but Klotman wins out then. Riccio spun his own car, let's not forget Connery. Nick Thyssen coming home 3rd.
Yeah, and again, it's another fantastic run for Nick Thyssen that may have just secured him the championship here in the Season 1 of the ProtoGT series for 2017. We'll have to check that at the end of the race, in the post-race coverage right here. But again, Nick Thyssen, he's really good in the middle to late part of the race. That's where he makes up all his time. Even though his qualifying isn't really all that good compared to all of the others, he can make up for it.
Yeah. We're going to take a very quick breather here on Racesport TV. Back with more after these messages. Racesport TV prime time on Racesport TV as everyone's in Donut City. Well, there we are. That is ProtoGT in the books for another season. Gonna get a word then with GT2 race winner here today, Cohen Klotman, in just a moment's time. But overall, Connery, it's been a fantastic season of Racesport TV Primetime here on Racesport TV.
Yeah, it really has. And every single time that we have ProtoGT on Racebot Primetime, we've only had it once more in the past. But again, that season was absolutely fantastic as well. This season was absolutely fantastic. And it is a great pick for Racebot Primetime. And I'm in no way trying to influence anyone.
Yeah, going to talk about Racebot TV Primetime for next season coming up in a minute. Cohen Klotman is here then. Cohen, congratulations on the race win in GT2. Talk us through your event here this evening.
Hi guys. Yeah, that was pretty tough in the beginning with Gianni. I was just trying to feel safe a bit on his back. And then sadly he made contact with HPD, which I know how it feels to hit the HPD. I mean, it's just a lottery. These kind of races with this kind of speed difference. So yeah, I know it happens, but it's really a shame because it breaks up battles like this race. But yeah.
We're just having a look at the championship points. It looks like, as it stands, you might still just be behind Nick Thissom. But overall, what's your thoughts about the championship as we round out 2017 season 1?
Of course, I came in late. I think I did 7 races out of 8, so I'm missing a lot of points. So I don't know how the points are now. I think I might just have it since I think I win with about 10-20 points. Not sure, not saying anything here. Maybe Nick has it, but yeah. So I had to work really hard. I had to win a lot of races to get there, and I think I made it. So
yeah, and of course, we're 2 weeks away from a new season already. What's going to be your thoughts heading into a new championship campaign?
Maybe try the GT1 again. I'm not as fast as in the GT2 car, but maybe with some practice I can be up there, fighting for wins. Or maybe another season in the Ford. Who knows?
Well, thank you very much. Then Cohen Klotman coming home with the race win in GT2. Going to hand it over to Connery, stood by with 2nd place in class.
Yes, I am with Gianni Vecchio, 2nd place in the GT2 field in the final race here, Watkins, Glen, and Gianni. I think you got to say the turning point in that race was the contact coming down to turn 1.
Yeah, it was probably the main moment because me and Cohen had a really good fight over the first, I don't know, 15-16 laps. And by the way, congrats to Cohen. And yeah, after that crash or incident, I hadn't really the pace because I lost a lot of speed over the straights, and also the car felt a bit different through the turns in the boot. And yeah, but anyway, in the end I was lucky to stay in 2nd because Nick was flying in the end, and yeah, I'm quite lucky with P2.
P2, but it could have relatively easily have been P1. If you didn't have that instant, do you think you could have taken this race win?
I don't know, because Cohen and me were at nearly the same pace, and it just maybe if I would have made a mistake, or Cohen would have made a mistake, maybe this could be the reason that I will win or Cohen. But I think it would have been just very close, and yeah, Cohen could have won and I could have won it. So yeah.
Yeah, Cohen perhaps needed it more in terms of his championship fight with Nick Thiessen. But apologies, I'm having a little bit of technical issues with the service right now, but so we can't really check these things, at least on my side. But yeah, great season for you, Gianni. You got your race win at Monza, I believe it was, and
yeah, Monza.
Thinking of running next season?
I don't know, because I drove the Aston for like over a year. And you know, it's just like you want to race something different. And today I thought, why not try the Ford, because I never driven it, and I just thought, yeah, maybe I can do the race here. And it's a lot of fun to drive the Ford, because I thought, yeah, it might be very different in comparison with the Aston, but it's a lot of fun. So I think I will try it next season.
Yeah, just very quickly, any shoutouts you want to give?
Yeah, to our sponsors and also to my teammate Max. He didn't make it even to the start-finish line, and yeah, he just don't be too sad, Max. And yeah.
Well, there we go, Will.
Indeed so. Well, that is it for RaceSpot TV Primetime from ProtoGT this season. We are going to do something a little bit different and exciting for next season. Full details of that coming soon. But basically, imagine it like this. Any given Fridays, that is coming your way soon on RaceSpot TV Primetime, where you will continue to have the say. Just going to shake it up a little bit. Also, don't forget that this coming Saturday, it is the first ever RaceSpot TV race day. We got 3 championships. We start with the RaceSpot Formula Renault Cup. Follow that one on with the RaceSpot TV Super Cup, and then we kick off round number 1 of the 2017 iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series. It will be live from Interlagos. It will be 2 p.m. on Saturday, but our coverage starts at 11 a.m. GMT. That is all we got time for this evening. Thank you to Connery for being a part of this series all season alongside myself, Will Vinson. We're RaceSpot TV. We'll talk to you all next time. Goodbye.